Hi, I'm Larry Richardson, your step-by-step chef. In keeping with our cooking and camping with the Step-by-Step Chef series, I'm here at Capitol Reef, a beautiful, beautiful national park in southern Utah. A must-see. If you go to the Grand Canyon, you have to come to Capitol Reef. I did some magnificent hiking here. It's very strenuous, had a great time today, and as usual, I'm hungry. And I want spaghetti. Yeah, spaghetti of all things. Spaghetti. Spaghetti way out here, you betcha. Now you can make this recipe as straight up spaghetti sauce, and it's from scratch, or you can make it as Southwest spaghetti sauce in keeping with our magnificent location. So come on, let's cook. And here are the ingredients for our quick and easy Southwest or just plain old spaghetti sauce. The only difference is this red hot chili pepper. You put that in, it is Southwest spaghetti sauce. You leave it out, it's good old spaghetti sauce. So we have 2 tomatoes, 2 medium tomatoes. I'm going to use a 1/4 cup of this red pepper minced. I have a 1/4 cup of an onion that has starred in many programs, but it's at its last, so say goodbye to Mr. Onion. I have 2 garlic cloves. We're going to use 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil to saute the vegetables in. I'm going to use 1 to 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. It's up to you. Just be a little bit judicious when adding that, because once you add it, you can't take it out, and it tends to be pretty potent. We're going to use Parmesan cheese to taste when it's all done, salt to taste when it's all done, and I'm making this angel hair pasta. I like angel hair spaghetti because it cooks fast. It's super thin, cooks fast, ready in like 4 to 5 minutes. Just prepare it by the package, whatever spaghetti you get. And we need water to boil the spaghetti in. So let me show you how to put all this together. Now, of course, before we start prepping the spaghetti sauce ingredients, let's light up our stove. Make sure to read the instructions on how to light yours. We're going to, I hear the telltale hiss, lit. We're going to boil the water, start boiling the water for the spaghetti itself. Start this first because it can take a bit of time when you're outdoors, especially if you're at altitude or you're in cooler conditions. So start your engines. Now I have rinsed off all of these veggies, and while the spaghetti water is working on its boil, we're just going to start cleaning and mincing these different veggies. So first up is the sweet red pepper. If you have green bell pepper, that's fine too. Again, I just want to produce, it's a little tough working around this picnic table. They're all a little different. We just want to mince up this red pepper. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, you want to have a little presence of it in our sauce, a little crispness. So don't worry about going micro fine with it. So I removed the core and the seeds. And then we're just chopping it. Just a very basic chop. You can make the pieces smaller if you want. I don't mind having a little presence of this. Little crunch to it. Here we go. Now if you want to wear a glove to do the optional red hot chili pepper, that's up to you. Or just use your knife and fork if you don't want the heat on your hands. You can add more of this, you can add less of this, you can leave it out altogether. You know I'm not your cooktator, so it's totally up to you. Make it my way the first time. Let me get the seeds out of this and the core. Make it my way the first time, and then the next time, make it your way. Do it the way you like it. I mean, you could add ground beef to this and turn it into a nice bolognese-ish. You know, so there's a lot of different things you can do with this. But this is kind of an emergency spaghetti sauce. This isn't the kind that you make and then you have it, you know, boil in a pot on your stove all day. We don't have that kind of time out here. So just mincing this up, our optional chili pepper. I'm looking forward to the heat. I just love heat. If you don't, leave it out. Remember that. Okay. It's gonna have a real Southwest flair. Don't touch your eyes, don't touch your eyes. If you're working with these, you will remember it. Don't touch your eyes. And I know you would never put your finger in your nose. Don't do that either. And if there's any place else sensitive, that you might end up getting this on you, don't touch that part either. Just don't. Because you will remember. It will light you up if you cut these peppers with your fingers, with your own fingers, and then you go and you touch your eyes. Oh boy, will you remember it. So that's my standard pepper disclaimer. I use that every time I cut these, because I know someone out there is following along, they're not listening, or they sped through, and they just touch their eyes, and people can hear them right up the canyon. Oh, geez. Okay. Some nice big pieces of that, too. And now we have our onion. Now this onion starred in, I think it was in an omelet. It's the sausage omelet video. It's probably in the sausage scrambler video. I think it's been in a sandwich. So I think it's been in more movies than most movie stars, and it had the starring role. And I just want a 1/4 cup of this. It looks like I'm going to get a little bit more, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to cut it like this. And I can't guarantee that onion's going to be back. Maybe it'll have a guest starring appearance in a sandwich tomorrow. So keep watching Step by Step Chef, Cooking and Camping with the Step by Step, just to see what happens to this onion. You know, Ollie the Onion, that's its stage name. I don't know what its real name is. Okay, so there's our veggies. Now, the way we can speed up this tomato sauce, the spaghetti sauce, is to remove the pulp and seeds, so it doesn't have to dry out that long to come out tasty. So we're just going to take this, and you can rinse it out. If you're making this at home, you can rinse it out. This is not a very glamorous dish to make outdoors, but boy is it tasty. So I'm just taking out the pulp, and you could really think of this almost as a tomato basil pasta without the without the basil. So if you've ever made tomato basil pasta, I gotta keep that from getting all over me, you do clean out the tomatoes, and they do cook fast. So we're just slicing this down, and we're just going to saute this all together. No reason to be multi-staging it. Oops, there's our 2 crowns. Okay, so just cut the tomato pieces as small as you can, because we do want them to cook down. We want them to reduce. Okay, so I'm going to do that for all of the tomato. And through the miracle of television, I was able to clean up that disastrous cutting board. I was embarrassed to have you in my kitchen, my outdoor kitchen. Even outdoors, that was an embarrassment. But I didn't know that the tomatoes are going to be quite that juicy. So I usually like to clean as I go, and wow, those tomatoes really forced me to get into action. Otherwise, I was going to go back to my campsite, back to my tent with tomato juice all over my pants. That stuff was flowing faster than the Colorado. Yeah, that's a pretty neat metaphor for out here. So anyway, so here's our garlic. We're just taking off the skin, and then we'll mince it as fine as we can. If you have your garlic crusher with you, use that. I love those garlic crushers. I do have mine with me, and sometimes I do use it, but we're kind of roughing it with this series. And also, cleaning the garlic crusher isn't that much fun out at a campground. It can be a little challenging, and if I'm not really good at it, other people can end up having whiffs of garlic all over them. So it's just one of those things. So, wow, this one is just tough to skin. Well, I'm going to go back and do that in a second, but all we're doing, just so you know, is really thin cutting the garlic. And then just give it a cut like this. You don't have to go too tiny with it. Remember, we're camping, so we can rough and tumble. We can keep up the best of them, and chunky garlic isn't going to bother us. No way. Not after what we did today. Not after that hike straight up and straight down and in the middle. But wow, the things we saw, there's a reason I camp, there's a reason I cook, because they're both very enjoyable. A great way to spend time. Okay, and then just give it that little mince. Okay, now I'll meet you over at the stove. Okay, so you can see our water is already boiling. I'm not ready to make the spaghetti, so I'm going to turn that down just a little. There we go. And now I have this ready. That's lit. Turn that up just above medium, almost 3/4 heat, because we can cook the spaghetti sauce fast. There's our sauteing spaghetti pan. Here comes our olive oil. Yum. I love olive oil. Let's just spread that out a little bit. And here's our fixins for our sauce. Okay. Let's just add our dry Italian seasonings right to this. Again, remember, be a little conservative with it. You can add a little bit more later. If you add too much early on, you can't take it out. So remember that rule. Now let me turn this up a little. These stoves can be a little hard to regulate, so it just takes a second. And now I'm just going to bring this to a simmer. It's going to take about 5 minutes to get going, so I'll be right back. Okay, so 5 minutes into it, you can see I got a nice simmer going. I want a nice fast simmer. I want to saute this down really quickly. Like I said, this is a quick spaghetti sauce from scratch. This is not going to be sitting out here cooking for 4 to 8 hours. If I left this out here for that long, I'd come back and there'd be a bunch of bears with spaghetti sauce on their chins. So we're not going to do that. So I'll be back in 10 minutes, but I'm going to keep it at this level of simmer, and I have the spaghetti water is hot, and I'm going to put a cover on that, and we're just going to keep on going. So 10 minutes in, you can see, look at that. It's all cooking down nicely. See? Now some of the pepper pieces are staying together. They're the hardiest of all the vegetables in here. But look, those little tomato pieces are just melting away. And I'm giving them a nice squishing. And you can go for whatever consistency you want. Let's give it a little taste. Woo! That's hot. I'm going to add a little salt to it. And if you have tomatoes that are on the tart side, you can add a little bit of sugar to it to calm that down. Some people even add some finely sliced carrots to it, but that's totally up to you. These tomatoes, fortunately, were very sweet. So it has a real spaghetti sauce taste to it right out of the container. Well, I guess right out of the pan. It's a better way to put it. And you can cook this as long as you want. Like I'm going to give this probably 5 more minutes. Then I'll start the spaghetti, which will take 5 minutes. And then we'll be in an Italian restaurant out here. It smells like an Italian restaurant out here. I bet this is the most remote, fresh Italian spaghetti ever made in a campground in 2021. I'm just guessing. But you can see, just mush it up, get the consistency that you like, and I'll be back in 5 minutes. So 5 minutes later, this is one hearty, spicy Southwest spaghetti sauce. I think you're going to like it. It's got some chunk to it, which is actually the way I like my spaghetti sauce anyways. I don't like it all thinned out. Yum. So that's going to cook for 5 more minutes while we make our spaghetti. So you can see the spaghetti water is ready. Let me just turn it up a little bit. Kind of lost its steam once I open the top. There we go. You just measure out the amount of spaghetti you think you're going to eat with your dinner. And if you throw some salt in there, it'll boil a little bit harder. So this is going to take 5 more minutes, and then we are going to eat. So I'll be right back. Okay, so our sauce is done. It is hearty. This is one hearty spaghetti sauce. So I turned the heat off on that. Our spaghetti's ready. Drain it in an appropriate spot and carefully, and I'll see you in a moment. So congratulations, look at what you just made. You just made this hearty spaghetti sauce from scratch while camping. Or this hearty Southwest spicy spaghetti sauce while camping. I mean, it's going to be absolutely delicious. Is it going to be like velvety smooth? No. You can't do that out here. You're dealing with propane tanks that will not last for 4 to 8 hours. So what do we do when we're hungry? We make it our way. We're not cook-tators. Now, if you like this recipe, please visit StepByStepChef.com. There you will find a free printable version of this recipe, along with over 175 other recipes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And they're all easy. Not only that, but you will find each of them has a video too. And if that's not enough, here's your bonus. You'll also find videos, since we're doing cooking and camping with the Step-by-Step Chef, you will find step-by-step videos on how to camp. Win, 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 win. That's the way it is. So anyways, so we have our brand new Italian restaurant out here at Capitol Reef National Park. I hope you'll stop by and make your own Italian dinner. I'm Larry Richardson. I am your Step-by-Step Chef, and I'll see you in the next episode.